Uh, Good evening. Welcome to grails-kml-plugin. The plugin can be found over here. It's going to be put onto the video inside the introduction bit. What this plugin does is it does two different things. It resolves postcodes to addresses globally, and it also allows you to generate KML files, which is Google's map overlays, in order to basically control where your postcodes sit or reside within a given boundary. So typically, um, when it resolves something, if it sits inside this area, it would pick this area over that area. And it's then designed for you to then be able to have local areas or define where postcodes sit in if it's outside of generic areas. You wouldn't really get the generic area names from most of this geo information anyway. It's very difficult to get hold of that. So you'd really need this sort of boundary stuff to figure it out for yourself. So I wanted to talk through the two different modes. So first of all, the plugin. Um, I'm going to do a couple of videos. So this video, I'm going to talk through how the plugin works. And then I'm going to do a second video, which will be a walkthrough from the beginning of starting up the site from brand new with nothing. And then I'm going to do probably a third video, which is more complex of how all of this works. So I'm going to try and keep it brief and simple for different audiences. So there's a lookup when you load in the plugin. There's a lookup. In order to get the plugin working, there are instructions. So you need to, this is changed actually. So it's going to be org.grails.kml, KML 0.2, but you'll see that anyway. You just follow that. You'll add some configuration values, and they're explained. And I'll go through them on the second video. And then you start up the site once you've got them in. And when you put these variables in, you're going to need this file here unzipped and put into this location here, or you create your own location. And then you need this other file, which is here, and you need to put that default file inside this location here, or your own location. And with that in, you then need to enable this in Bootstrap, in your Bootstrap of your application. And that should be it, and everything should work. So we're going to go through that in a minute from a brand new site anyway. So first of all, we're going to do a lookup of addresses. So we're going to need some addresses to look up. So at the moment, we've got boundaries for the UK. So the best results or the completest maps and everything will be for the UK. But we're going to go for different parts of the world, and we're going to do Brazil post office address. Front tab. Okay. Yeah. This is in the United States. I think I'm looking for. Hold on. That's it. So we're going to do that US one first of all. So United States. And it's taken us to Santa Paula, which is where we looked up, but it can't find a street name for this one. I'll have to get rid of this now at some point, but it's taken us to near enough a location. If we go to say Paula somewhere, which is in Brazil, so I'm not sure whether it's going to work, but we'll try it. Oh. Yeah, we've got quite a lot of information on that. And we've even got a street name. And so yeah, we'll go somewhere else in the world now. We go to New Orleans. That's New Orleans. Where is it? I'm thinking New. Maybe in London. New Jersey. New Jersey. Let me think about it. So we go to somewhere in Ottawa in Canada. And it's giving us a street name. We'll go to Moscow Post Office. Post Office. Goodness. Why would I want to go to the UK if I'm looking for something there? I don't understand. What? United States? Moscow Post Office? What is it? What the hell? Yeah, that'll do. Okay, so we don't have a street name on this one. Now we're going to go to UK. Now we're going to do some UK ones, UK postcode examples. So the globe gives you the map and where the location sits. The UK ones gives you some other information. Okay, so here's some. And it's given us the boundary of where that postcode sits and the street name and everything like we saw in Canada, but we've got this extra red boundary drawn around it, so which is where that postcode resides, which is the area name, which is City of Westminster. If we do another one, so what we have got is there's a City of Westminster that we've locally got on file for KML, which is the overlay, and that gets loaded in with, after the map is loaded in. Put in another postcode. We end up Ebury Street, Hampshire, but we don't seem to have a KML file for it, so hence it's just given us a location, and this hasn't got updated. If we did a refresh, that would be blank, so we couldn't find an area for it. Put another area in. This has got an area, sorry. You can see there it's got updated. and it's updated Surrey as a boundary, and you can see here, it's put the postcode. It's literally from where we saw it on the line, but if that had fallen on the other side of this line, it should have picked that other boundary for this area at this time. And this is coming from our local website's information rather than from Google or anywhere else. This boundary information is kept in memory when the site starts up, and it's read in from a file, which was that default KML file that talks about over here, which gets split into all these different files, and those files contain the boundary information, which is what draws the map as we saw here. So I'm going to do another postcode before we're going to hit London. I'm going to do maybe a couple in London. This has gone to Liverpool boundary. And then if we do SC1 1AP, how that works, that takes us to Southwark. So it draws Southwark. If you'd had a look on Southwark's map on wherever for the boundaries, you'd see it's the same shape, it's the same thing. And again, it's inside the thing, but you could probably get a postcode that says literally on the line, and it should pick hopefully the right one. The system should pick the right one. So that's the resolving part, and you can actually disable whether you show the map. The map at the moment shows development mode because I've disabled the API feature. I don't have it on my key, so I've also disabled the plugin so that I can see the developer console. I'll talk through that on the second video. We're going to go through to the map part of it now, which is our overlays or KML files, which has been loaded in. When it loads up, it loads in Bradford by default, and you can click edit. You can change Bradford. So let's say we want to bring Bradford in slightly this way. So all the postcodes that was on that line should now fall into the next area as long as we redesign it. You get really fine with it. So let's say we want to call this Bradford 1 now. It should hopefully work. So if we refresh the page now, we should see Bradford 1 being renamed now. Okay. So what we can do now is if we can do a KML, which shows us the file, which is the XML file that's being loaded in. If we copied this and saved it as saved it as Freddy save KML. So we could now literally import this file back into the system using the upload feature and choose the file and upload it. Oh, we're pointing to the maps folder. So let's upload Kent and call it my Kent. But it's the same process. It's obviously the same files that we're looking at. And submit. So it's uploaded the file now, and on here we should have Kent. So where's my Kent? Doesn't that work? Okay, so it's problem with Kent. Let's do another upload, upload another file. We know Bradford works, and we'll call that Bradford 2. So we've got Bradford 1, and then we've got Bradford 2, which is the same thing. That's no good to us because we've now confused the system with two files. So we'd have to remove one of them from the back end and or probably just delete it from here, because if we did, there's a delete button on this. You can load maps, or you can do combine areas, and so called Bradford 1, delete this, combine areas, Bradford 2, as in delete. Okay. Because I'll have to delete the area first, which I can't. Yeah, I haven't given you the feature to do that. But Bradford 1, the file's now being removed, as you can see. So when I did that, it's okay. Yeah. So my process adds it to DB, and when it's added to DB, you can't delete it. Anyhow, so if you do load areas are local to it. You can configure this as well in the configuration to show how far you want it to go and what you can show. And combine areas is everything, but load areas, we're in Bradford, so we can get it to choose certain things by it. York is there, load area. So this could be used for figuring out where you want your boundaries to change to as you're editing this one, because if you did edit, you're only editing that one now. So if we had changed, I think, well, it wasn't this one, was it? So if we change this one, now we've got to zoom in, so you got to know what you're doing. Okay, some rubbish stuff going on there. Oh no, no, it has moved. Look, it has moved. It's just showing that there's a big gap there now between those two lines. So we literally have like a problem there now where we could create another area and call it my odd bit of land, and that all the postcodes inside there would then resolve hopefully to that new land that you create. But you'd have to load that one in and that one in, and then work out what's in the middle from this and try and create a new area. So yeah, you'd probably want to make it a bigger gap so you can work with it easier. Anyhow, that's the map part of it. Hopefully it's made sense. You can save it, you can upload, you can get the KML, you can refresh. I haven't tested it. There you go. And you refresh it by the top button there. That's always works. Refresh. That always works. So that wraps up for the first video for now. I'm going to do a second video, which is a total walkthrough of the whole plugin before I do some more complex walkthrough. Thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye bye.